Hey everyone.
Hi.
We just got out of a dog double feature and I look ridiculous.
He forgot his jeans at home.
That's right. I'm sitting here pantsless right now.
Oh, he's wearing pajamas. I didn't mean like that.
When the first movie we went to go see was Sgt Stubby, which was only showing at one time. It was showing at 4:30, and I had a gym appointment at 3:30, which ended at 4, and originally you were going to pick me up at the gym, and I completely forgot that that's what the plan was, so I just took the car and called you. Was like, I'll get you an Uber so you can meet me at the theater. And I was kind of in a hurry when I left, so I also forgot my jeans as well. So to go see the dog double feature, I've got just these sweet... Just these sweet Mario pajamas that I got going on here. Yes, 2 please. It's so nice of you to take your older brother out to the movies.
I'm his nurse.
Is there a simple discount? Someone comes up to us at the mall and is like, is there some kind of reverse she's all that going on?
That's funny.
So, anyway, I was very comfortable in the theater, actually. I was just sitting there in my pajamas and enjoying these 2 movies about dogs.
Plus, we were the only ones in the first movie, so...
We were the only...
kind of talk.
Which made it even more ridiculous, because in the first movie we were at, Sgt Stubby, there was something wrong with the projector, of course, so I had to go out in the lobby and like, hey, the screen the movie is like bigger than the actual screen is. And I go walking it out into the lobby to say this as if I'm about to ask them, could you turn it down? I'm trying to nap. I am clearly trying to sleep right now. Why are you playing this loud ass movie in this very cozy nap room?
I'm just really hungover. I just need a place to crash.
Look, that's what they thought happened when Brian and I went to go see that Barbie movie a couple years ago. Clearly, they just need a place to nap.
Okay, I'm so...
Oh, yeah. There you go. We'll just drink out of the water that got spilled right there.
No.
We had a dog in there, it'd probably go for that. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Probably Sgt Stubby before I start forgetting more of it. Well, not forgetting, but like I kind of want to still have it fresh. And we watched that one first, and then Isle of Dogs was next.
Yeah,
and I kind of just want to keep it fresh in my brain.
You don't want like a day or two to think about it or anything?
I need to think about this.
Sometimes I wish we had that. Sometimes for some movies, I wish I didn't have to talk about this movie now. But you're right. Like, Sgt Stubby is a simple enough movie. It's actually a very good film, honestly.
It was really good, I thought. It's really cheap looking, kind of. I mean, the animation still looks nice for what budget they had, but the story is still really, like, interesting. I actually ended up looking it up later.
Oh, that it's based on a true story. Yeah, it's based on an actual dog from World War I that was, like, kind of the... I guess you'd say, like, mascot for this unit, but also did a lot of badass shit. Like, whether it was, like, saving a lot of their lives or even, like, capturing a German at one point.
Yeah, and, like, warning them about the mustard gas and...
Yeah. There is a lot of cool stuff like that in the movie, and when you're talking about the animation, I had gotten the trailer for this movie, my glasses, there we are. I had gotten the trailer for this movie a handful of times, and the trailer, one thing that you notice right away from the trailer is that it definitely does look like a very low-budget animated movie, especially, I mean, it had a $25 million budget, I think, but low is when you compare it to some more mainstream animated movies that are out there, and I've seen so many, like, bad theatrical animated movies that probably have the budget of this one. So the first time I saw the trailer, unfortunately, instantly, I was like, I don't know if that'll be any good.
Yeah.
Because it just... You could tell that it had a budget that was maybe on par with some animated movies that maybe weren't very good in the past. And this movie, I don't think, did all that well when it came out, which is unfortunate, because it's a movie that shows that you really can work with what you're given for a theatrical animated release that has a significantly lesser budget than certain other movies that are out there. It shows that you actually can have a very, character-driven story, a very heartfelt movie.
You don't have to resort to anything cheap, like any cheap jokes or cheap story. Like something that doesn't have a good storyline or
it doesn't.
Jokes
it doesn't have to be Norm of the North.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be Norm of the North or that fucking Robinson Crusoe one that I went to, The Wildlife or whatever it was called.
Oh,
that fucking movie. Or I saw the ballerina version of Leap and didn't think it was that bad, but I guess the Leap version is like significantly lesser.
I'm like, I don't know what they did to fuck it up more, but
I didn't see it. I didn't see the Leap version. I just saw the ballerina one. But this movie, it looked, visually speaking, it looks better than Norm of the North does.
Yeah, it does.
But maybe on par with like Leap, maybe in terms of visually how it looks. And they do a good job of working with that, because they do a lot of cool things with the sky and some of the action sequences in the film. The sky can at some points look like an old World War II cartoon.
Yeah.
A lot of like pinks and
during
clouds.
The sunset,
and
it was really pretty.
Yeah.
And they had the grass was actually kind of nice looking.
Yeah, it can look like an old postcard or something.
And the dog actually acts and moves like a dog, too.
Yeah.
That's what I noticed a lot. Like, I only saw parts of the trailer, and I don't really remember. So I was kind of going in expecting the dog to be really cartoony. And
you expected him to talk?
I was thinking he was going to talk. Like, I just... Because I really went into this blind, so I just saw the poster for it, and it looked like a dog talking movie.
Them Germans are cold, B.
Yeah, well, just because the animation does look a little cheaper.
Uh-huh.
So you're just kind of expecting the dog to talk, and I really like that they didn't. And also, the dog is really cute, and it does act like a dog and makes noises like a real dog. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they do a good job of animating the dog and everything, and certain shots in the movie look like they could be out of like a Rockwell photo. But also, even when the movie does get a little darker in the gas sequence, it does visually get a little darker as the movie goes along. It never gets like really gruesome or anything like that, or particularly violent. But it does what it can in a PG-rated kids movie that's about World War I, and a lot of it takes place on a battlefield. You see just demolished buildings. You see a lot of like bad aftermaths and things on fire. Yeah, there is. There's death in the movie. Again, as much as they could probably do in a movie like this, a lot of it is the relationship between the dog and the soldiers. And it's got stuff that, like, you would kind of figure would sort of be in a movie like this, where, the grumpy, like, drill sergeant comes out, and,
he actually immediately likes the dog.
Okay, then it's the other guy I'm thinking of. The other guy I'm thinking of where, one guy comes out and is like, "Man, what is that damn dog doing there?" And then,
you mean the redheaded guy?
No, not the redheaded guy. The one who was like the lieutenant, or he was one of the guys in charge, and at first he was yelling about the dog, and the dog sits up and salutes him, and he goes, "Stubby, you're all right." Like, it's got scenes like that in the film.
And apparently that actually happened, according to Wikipedia. He actually did salute.
Did kind of do...
Well, I'm sure he didn't do it like that, like in the movie, but...
It's exactly like the movie, and the guy followed it up with that line.
Yeah, the Stubby was, like, way more appreciated than any of the other soldiers. You're like...
"Get out of here, Schroeder! We need this medic van for Stubby, god damn it!"
It's either me or Schroeder.
It's either Stubby or Schroeder, and we're picking Stubby, god damn it! You've lived a long life, Schroeder. You're what, 21? Stubby has way more years to live. And then there's the young guy too, who's always like angry about the dog being there. Like, damn it, why is it? I don't like dogs. Why is the dog get more food than I'm getting? Why is the dog coming here? Oh, God, you and your stupid dog.
Yeah, I was like, what's your damage? Why do you have such an issue with this dog? He's helping and saving a lot of people.
I could be doing that.
He didn't do anything.
No, he does something towards the end of the film.
Yeah.
But that's a spoiler. Or I wanted, I wanted this movie to more so go like the the PG-13
I was
like
thinking that too.
level with this. Like it would have been interesting to see how much more they could have pushed it in terms of its battle scenes and things like that. But also for the scene where they all go on vacation to Paris. That way they could say like, Stubby, we are getting you laid.
Yeah, to the other guys, they wander off with two women. And then him and Stubby are just like, we'll just lay here.
Yeah, they're just, dude is laying in the bathtub, Stubby's sitting in the window like, Stubbs, this is the good life.
All the postcards they were taking when they were doing like doing the touring sites.
Uh-huh.
They're just like him with his dog.
That would be me and Lloyd.
That would be me and Lucy too.
Yeah. Me and Lloyd is my battle cat.
Yeah, we were talking about, what if it was a Siamese cat, or any cat in general?
Siam were allies, so that means Lloyd was there too in spirit.
He's been reincarnated.
Lloyd, we are getting you laid. Thanks for saving my life, Lloyd. The only way Lloyd saved my life in that situation is if he woke me up like he usually does at 6 a.m. and there happened to already be a bomb falling near me. Oh, thanks, buddy. You inadvertently saved my life.
Yeah, I like the movie a lot. I thought, what I was saying, like, during the movie, which no one was in the theater, so it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was
in there.
I was leaning. I wasn't talking to myself. I was talking to you. I was saying how I could see this in being shown in like a grade school classroom.
Yeah.
Like to show like World War I, because it is a little historical. Like there is.
No, yeah, it is.
Yeah. There's a lot of history in there. Well, not a lot, but enough where you could show like.
Yeah,
you know,
if you don't know much about World War I and you want to show that, yeah, you could show this in a class, whether you wanted to talk about this particular situation or even maybe some things about World War I in general, because they do have like exposition scenes where it switches over into like 2D animation, and that actually that looked really cool, to the point to where I kind of wish the whole movie looked like that.
Yeah, they would switch over from CGI to like animated, like I guess it was a like cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I thought that was cool. They would switch, like, whenever there was a narrator throughout the movie, which was playing Conroy, the main character's sister, who we never see. And according to this movie, they only talked about his dog. Yeah.
That was it.
She's like, Stubby then felt really sad about this, or she didn't do anything like that, but, you know, he was like, then he felt really bad for Stubby.
Boy, it'd be nice if Conroy would ask me about my day or something. Glad to know the dog had some rabbit. Alright. The dog loves me more than his own flesh and fucking blood.
The narrator, who's Helena Bonham Carter, whenever she kind of talks and explains and does the exposition of what is going on in the war, you would see, like, animation, like, cartoon animation, and I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah,
it flashes into, like, 2D animation, and it does look cool. There's a supporting character where, I forget the guy's name, but Conroy, the lead character, who's,
Gaston?
like, the owner, the French guy, French Brian.
Mm-hmm. French Brian.
French Bud Spencer, like, he shows up in this, and this, it does silly, like, kind of animated movie things where, because it's them joining up with the French, and this character is kind of the main French guy that's in there, and I swear throughout like the first 20 minutes of his scenes, when he's like, you know, us French with our wine, like, you know, like.
What did you say?
Us French with our wine. It's not quite unlike what he's... No, no, the accent's better in the movie because I'm pretty sure it's Gerard Depardieu. But it's playing like that, like, kind of, like, accordion music in the background for, like, 20 minutes of this movie.
And he's slicing brie with a knife, and he's like, we like our wine, and...
I think he's French.
I think. The accent's not selling me.
No, that guy was funny.
Yeah, he was cool.
And he'll just show up, too, at random points in the film.
And starts fighting again. I thought you were like, wasn't he on furlough? Or what was he on?
I can't remember.
Yeah, but...
Stubby, you son of a bitch!
And then, like, the village where the mustard gas, or it was mustard gas, or something.
Yeah.
It was, like, going through the village, and Stubby, like, warned everyone, and they were... And, you know, Conroy's helping out, too. And then afterwards, they're like... The whole village is just like, Stubby, thank you! And then it's like... I wish I was... Stubby's... Or Conroy's probably saying...
All the men are, like, lined up. Stubby's there. Like, the sergeant comes out and is like... Stubby, we've decided to up your rank to sergeant. The rest of you men, you make me sick.
Get out of my sight.
Get out of my sight. Basically, by the end of the war, the dog was the only, like, ranking officer in World War I.
I think Conroy was... I think he became... something.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I was kidding. I didn't actually think that the dog was the only ranking soldier at the end of World War I.
I meant in the movie, not in real life.
No, true story.
It is a true story, the movie.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Sorry.
Why did you say it like that?
No, I did enjoy this movie. I did. It was a nice surprise.
It was. I was surprised, and I went into it blind. You went into it like thinking it was gonna suck.
No, I'd heard beforehand that it was actually because it's been out for a couple of weeks. Gino saw it. He was talking about it a little bit the other day when we went to go see fucking Super Troopers 2. And no, I've known a few people who have seen it and said that it was actually pretty good. So I went into it pretty optimistic, and
I did too. I just was expecting the dog to talk, which I'm glad it didn't.
And since I didn't know the story, I mean, I knew it was a true story, but I didn't know really many specifics about it, honestly. I honestly didn't know if this was going to be one where, like, the dog dies at the end. I'm like, is the dog going to make it out? Like, let's say for the sake of argument that, like, let's say that happened, the dog didn't make it through the story that's presented in the film, and they depicted that on film. Like, I would respect that in this case, because this is a movie that it's made by an independent film company. It's made by, it's out of the studio's out of Georgia, but it was animated out of France, I think.
I was thinking during the whole thing, I was like, this looks like is this a European movie? But it couldn't be, because it could be, but I was thinking, like, why would they make, like, this really patriotic American movie? I mean, Europe can still do that, but I mean, it just would have been...
Considering the second dog movie we went to go see could have been made anywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I thought, like, you know, this would be the kind of movie that could get away with actually going there to some darker places that maybe a more mainstream film couldn't. Again, the movie never really gets that dark, but, like, it's certainly not afraid to do certain things in terms of its story.
It doesn't sugarcoat, like, World War I that much.
No, I mean, people do die in the story, but, I mean, it's not a bloody film at all. I want to see sequels where it's Stubby in other wars.
Vietnam.
Yes, Vietnam. First of all, we're going to have a kickin' CCR soundtrack. Stubby will definitely stop a gang rape. Stubby's going to see some shit.
Yeah, I was looking up Stubby afterwards, and that was because I was pretty sure, like, this movie was based off a true story, but I didn't really know the specifics. But I looked it up, and I was looking at the real dog, and I was like, oh, So cute. I'm a big dog person, by the way, so that's why I'm like...
That's why I'm showing her Cujo.
I still want to see that.
It's actually a really great movie.
It sounds good. I just don't like it when dogs die in movies. I don't know if it dies or not, but I'm assuming it does.
Well, I won't ruin that for you. Except to say, definitely. I guess my final thought on this is, this movie I don't think is going to be even playing after a couple of days. Like, I don't think this movie is going to be showing, in Springfield at least, past tomorrow. I don't know if it's showing anywhere where you guys are playing. I don't know if it's one that you certainly need to, like, rush out and see in theaters by any means, but it is certainly a movie that shows that you, just because, you know, you're working with less money than something like Coco or something like that, doesn't mean you still can't churn out something good. Like, and this movie shows, like, no, they put out a really, really sweet movie. Unfortunately, no one saw it, but it is good. I have a feeling this, like, you know, this is one families could put in. Different schools could show it. Like, your grandparents would really like this movie, most likely.
Yeah.
So that's my final thought on it. I liked it.
Yeah, I have the same thought as you. I really liked it. It's a shame that it's not as popular, but I can see why.
Yeah, well, we're going to take a break and then come back and talk about another dog movie. See it.
Bye.